Hello everyone. This is Obipsha from contactbasebanganatom.com and I welcome you all to the 21st episode of SheLeads. So SheLeads is a program that we run on every Friday and we feature inspiring women entrepreneurs from across the country. And today we have Vishü Rita Krocha from Nagaland. She is a poet, she is a journalist and an author, and she runs her home publishing house from Nagaland. And we are really excited to know about her journey. And I hope the viewers we have with us will be inspired. So, without much ado, we will just dive into the question session. So, first of all, what do you do? What actually you do? What is your business is all about? Over to you, Vishü Rita.
Thank you. I am actually a journalist by profession. I joined journalism as a career in the year 2008. Prior to that, I had been writing a column for a weekly column for a local newspaper here, and I worked with an English daily based out of Nagaland as a full-time journalist for about 5 years, after which I quit full-time journalism to venture into publishing books. So my introduction to books was primarily through my first book, which I co-authored with my sister Agnes, which was also co-funded by the NEZCC, the Northeast Zone Council Center, and they came forward to fund our first book, and that's how I was introduced to the world of publishing. Prior to that, I had absolutely no knowledge about publishing. I did not even have that dream of, getting published someday. But I did know that I love writing. But it was a challenge in that sense because while growing up, nobody talked about writing as a profession. Like everybody would be, everybody else's ambition would be to become a doctor, an engineer, and all those fancy professions. But so I was kind of lost as to what I wanted to become, actually. And it was only during my second year of graduation that I discovered my love for writing, I think, and during which I also wrote my first poem, and that's how I got into writing and subsequently pursued journalism and mass communication and got into the newspaper industry. But after the publication of my book, I came out with my own collection as well after the first publication. My sister and I actually were very fortunate when our first book came out because we got Ruskin Bond to write the foreword for our book. And so the second book, which came out, was in the year 2011. And I was simultaneously pursuing journalism, but in 2013, I decided I would quit full-time journalism to venture into publishing books, also because there was little or no avenue for, aspiring writers to get their works published in the state of Nagaland. So I think that's how I got into publishing and started this home-based publication house called Pen Trail. The meaning behind Pen Trail, the name was coined by my sister, actually. So meaning to say that there is thrill in writing, thrill in the pen, and that's how it came about. And so we have been in the scene for 10 years now, published about 95 books so far. Yes.
So, you have mentioned there is thrill in writing and you are venturing into publishing. So, why business? Why you stopped your journalism career and went into full-time publishing? Why business? And you were also the part of first cohort of Academy for Women Entrepreneurs.
That's right.
So how was it as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I haven't completely stopped journalism, actually, because I think my love for storytelling continues, whether it is in the form of publishing books or writing it myself or doing journalistic pieces. So I still pursue journalism part-time as an independent journalist, but my primary occupation would be publishing books now. And business actually happened to me by accident, I would say, because when I started Pen Trail, I did with zero knowledge about business. I got into the publishing industry with nothing in my pocket but dreams. It was also because, I mean, as a journalist, you don't get paid much in the first place. So I had no savings at all. And I had zero knowledge about publishing. I had zero knowledge about business. But when I ventured into publishing, it was my sheer love for books and writing. And so, uh, for somebody like me with no business background, with coming from a family that has absolutely no business connections or whatsoever, it was like entering into a blank canvas. When I ventured into publishing, like I mentioned, it was my dream and passion for books that led me to publishing. And so when I actually started doing that, like I had to learn a lot of things from scratch by practical experience, because I had absolutely no knowledge and no background, I hadn't done no course in publishing as such as well. But 6 months into starting the publishing house, I also signed up for a short publishing course with National Book Trust of India, which was held in Delhi, and it was a 1 month course where I got introduced to the process of making a book and everything. So, but as I would learn later, it is a practical experience that give you a more enriching experience. So initially, when I started with the book business, like I said, it's an accident, the business aspect of it. But I also learned eventually that if I were to keep publishing books, then I should be able to sustain it as a business as well. But in the initial years, it was quite a struggle. Like there were times when I did not have enough money to print the upcoming title. But I think in that sense, my family has been very supportive. Like they would morally support as well as financially. And I've been very fortunate in that sense, because I also have a brother who is a self-taught graphic designer and who would design the books for publication. And so initially nothing was in place, I would say, but I think over the years I have learned from trial and error, and yeah, have come this far.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to listen to a woman like you, like who have started from scratch and now they are sustaining their businesses for as long as 10 years, and as you just shared. So there must be, situations where things were upsetting and things were exciting too. So if you could just let us know what are the things that excites you about this book business?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the very idea of book excites me. Like I am excited every time I receive a manuscript from a new, fresh, emerging author. There are stories rippling in our land, and I'm very excited every time I get a manuscript. I would be, especially as a poetry lover myself, like I give particular emphasis on poetry as well, and that I would say is also, I mean, across the country, across the world, people say poetry does not sell. There is no market for poetry, and I come across mainstream publishers also who do not publish poetry books also. But I mean, as a poetry lover myself, there is no escape for somebody like me. So I also encourage people, budding poets, to publish their works. And I always say this, but I think it also comes from the fact that we come from an oral tradition of literature. And our forefathers, like if you look back, they sang for every occasion. Like there is a song when there is a festival happening. There is a song when they are working in the fields, or when they are celebrating something, even when they are mourning the death of a loved one. So their expressions have been always been very lyrical. And so I think that is something that some of us have also inherited, which is also why like a lot of people, young people, continue to write poetry. And out of the about 95 books that Pentrill has published so far, I think over 40 publications are poetry collections. And so we primarily publish works from Nagaland, but Pentrill has also published works of authors from Manipur as well as Arunachal Pradesh. And once in a while, we also keep getting manuscripts from places, some places across India. Yeah, you mentioned about the things which excites me in this publishing process. Like I said, because I am more like a one-woman army in the whole business thing that I manage. Sometimes I do initially, especially, I did everything myself, like from reading the manuscripts to editing the manuscripts to connecting with printers to distributing books to various outlets here in the state, as well as trying to get it across the outside the state. So there would be things which I would really hate doing, like loading and unloading books, or small things, but which are very important aspects of the publishing firm. But I think I have also come to love those little errands along the way, and although it's not always exciting, because you have to connect with a lot of authors as well. Some are easy to work with, some are not, and there are a lot of things involved in publishing. But the most exciting aspect for me would be to see that smile on a first-time author's face when they first see their story, their manuscript being transformed into a book form.
Yeah, that's so nice. If you can just share us, like, you are running a business which is primarily service based, and then the production comes into the scenario. So, what are the difficulties that you have been facing? Like, how is it different from other businesses that deals with only products? Like in product based businesses, we know that we are not selling much, we are not producing much, and we need market channels and all that. But in a service based business like yours, which partly also have this producing and distribution part, so what was your difficulty?
Actually, I would say that publishing books is both a service and a product base. Service in the sense we give the service to the authors, but product wise, we are making it into a book form and distributing it to different outlets for purchase. So the challenge in that sense Nagaland as a whole, the entire publishing thing is a relatively new concept. So while people are not very familiar with, there are times when a lot of people are still confused whether if published, they get confused with publishing house and printing press, like they think it's the same entity. So there are times when people come to us just to ask if we can print something for them, and I always tell them that printing is just one of the aspects of publishing books. We outsource those services. But as far as marketing is concerned, it's been a challenge in the sense, I think people in Nagaland are just starting to, love books, because as I mentioned earlier, we come from an oral tradition of literature, and we have not been used to books written by our own local authors. So whatever we have consumed 10, 20 years back has been books which have come from outside. We have read stories from outside. So we are only starting to write our own stories. And I think that's a major challenge. But in my experience of book publishing over the last 10 years, I've also come across people now who are only on the lookout for local books. And they tell me, I go to bookstores just to buy a new local title. And if I don't see a newly released title, then I come away disappointed, which I think is a very positive comment, encouraging feedback for us to carry on as well.
It is the encouragement from our environment that we get, the book lovers that you have, they encourage you a lot. So as you are in this sector for a while now, and so what is your perspective on the total scenario of publishing in India? Like, how is the market going? What are the opportunities? and especially Nagaland and also in India. If you can share about that.
Yeah, I can't speak for India as a country because my experience in that area is limited. But I did get this opportunity to attend a Young Edition Conference of Publishers this March, this year in Bhopal, where we also got the opportunity to listen to some experts. And I mean, as I learned, I think that the publishing industry is booming across India. There are new authors every day, which also makes it a challenge for newer authors because the more book titles there are, the more readers you need. And but as far as Nagaland is concerned, I think it's in the stage of growing. I see that there are individuals who are also making conscious effort to introduce, inculcate the culture of reading in younger children and students as well. So there is this young lady who last year actually donated a lot of books to a primary school and made a small library out of it for students to indulge in books. And so I think there are so many initiatives like that. There is another lady from a remote town in Nagaland who also started this book club, and she would come to me and ask if I could give them certain number of copies of a particular title so they could all read together and discuss. And also, so she wanted only local books, so and I gave her discounts on those book titles as well, because my primary goal is also to raise that level of consciousness for readers to enjoy reading as well without it being too expensive.
Yeah, indeed. So it was lovely talking to you. So our episodes are only 30 minutes long. I would love
Right.
to hear from you more, but we are like in shortage of time. So I would
Yeah.
just quickly ask for a few of your suggestions that you would like to give to your fellow publishing entrepreneurs who are budding, especially in in geographical areas like you belong from.
I think there's only one thing that I have to say here, that you have a clear passion for what you want to do. If it is publishing industry that you are looking at, then you definitely have to have that love for books, that passion for books, the love for stories. And I think the business aspect of it will just fall into place.
Yeah, thank you so much. So it's the passion that runs or pushes us towards our goal, and eventually everything falls into places. So yeah, it was very nice talking to you, and we hope we will meet soon in any of our works. So thank you very much, Vishü Rita.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of our viewers who were with us and who will be seeing it in future. So we are almost live on every Friday with these inspiring women from across the country. And currently we are focusing on the northeastern part of the country where communication is a bit harder. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you, Vishü Rita.
Thank you.
And you can share your comments and anything if you want to ask to Vishü Rita, you can type it in the comment section below. And thank you so much. See you next week, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you.